Hey guys, it's Robert from East Coast Sawing Design. Today's video is talking about the new logging skidding winch setup for our tractor. In previous videos, you'll see me testing the winch in the woods and talking about when I first bought the winch itself. It's a 13,500 pound Vevor with a synthetic cable. So why why I went with this setup was basically cost. Um, when you look at PTO like Farmy, Ingersoll, TMG, Wallenstein, and there's a bunch more out there that I'm not going to get into on their names, but they all basically have one thing in common. They're expensive for what you're getting. Uh, I was online earlier today, and the Farmy and Wallenstein for 8,500. I think the Farmy was 7,500, and I know the Wallenstein's 8,500 pounds. Are going for 4 to 5 grand plus tax Canadian. So that's a lot of money I don't really have to put out. And the tractor really doesn't have the PTO horsepower for anything above about 6,000. Wallenstein used to make a 6,000 that would have been perfect for this. The four's a little bit under what I really want, 4,000 pounds. So cost was a big thing. I'm into this about 1,200 in bottom materials. So that would be the winch, the snatch blocks, the winch plate, the paint, and just a couple of miscellaneous things like the 7/8 drawbar pins. Now, I didn't have to pay for any of the steel, any of the welding equipment, but maybe $150 worth of secondhand steel if I went to my local scrapyard and picked up 2x2 tubing and some plate steel to make the blade part down at the bottom. Oh, and the batteries are included in that original 1,200. So with this setup, it's running on two Group 31 deep cycle batteries. They're 1,000 cold cranking amps, 120 amp hour batteries, 12 volts each. They're wired in parallel, so I get 240 amp hours. So what that means is this winch will run very long doing light duty work and moderately long for doing like pushing it to its limits. Really, with these bigger 12,000, 10 to 18,000 pound winches, you want a 120 amp hour battery minimum. Ideally, I probably would have went with something even bigger, either a 4D or an 8D, which is your double crate size single batteries that use in really big transport trucks like the older style ones. They would have, I think, probably about 250 cranking amp hours for one battery. And that would give me a lot of reserve capacity because the battery is just so darn big. So cost was the big reason. But I also enjoy the challenge. I built this frame entirely myself. I'll post a slide of pictures at the end of just different highlights of the building process. So the blade section at the bottom, that came from an old 100-pound propane tank. It's about a 17-inch section of the circumference, so it's about a foot high. The rails, there's support rails on the blade itself to keep it from flexing under a strain. The top and bottom came from a section of U channel I bought years ago for another project from our scrapyard. And then the sides are done up with the same 2x2 following the curve. The main frame on the top is two sections of 2x2 that were already welded to a cross piece that was about 16 inches long. I'll actually measure that because I didn't measure it originally. So yeah, from outside to outside, about 19 inches. So it was two uprights attached to a piece of 19-inch stock. And that's welded directly onto the blade top. And then the centerpiece is some 2x2 thick wall that we bought for another project years ago, or I bought for something for myself and never used. And it's attached at the bottom here, and then the low gooseneck top on it. And the winch itself is attached to that using a 2-inch receiver coupling. And then the third link is actually attached to this as well. And the two main links are attached to the sides of the uprights. So the blade is no real factor into the pulling capacity, which is good because then it's not a weak point. But I do have some additional bracing between the blade itself and the frame, just because I know that as it's pulling backwards, the tractor is going to be fine, but the blade, if it didn't have any support, could potentially roll and damage itself. We've experienced this with the tractor's snow plowing blade. So the battery box and the support uprights add a lot of rolling strength. Now you may be wondering why I went with a 13,500 pound winch. As I mentioned in my unboxing video, card in the corner, the 13,500 is not going to experience that until you get to the last wrap. So realistically, when it's fully wound up, it might experience 8,000 to 9,000 pounds of pulling force. It's going to depend winch to winch, but it's still above what I needed. So realistically, we've been doing a lot of this with a 3,500 pound winch, but it was on a frame that didn't have a blade on it. The winch was maxed out a lot. It would not surprise me if the coils are in very rough shape in that winch. So realistically, I probably could have gotten away with a 6,000 or a 7,000 pound winch, somewhere in that range. But going with a much bigger winch, you're dealing with much bigger parts. Like this winch is very beastly compared to a 35, a 5,000, a 6,000. You're going into a wholly different class when you go into winches this big. And the duty cycle is the main important thing. So it has a 5% duty cycle. So you winch for 45 seconds. It's 5% or something. So you winch for 45 seconds and you have like a 9-minute cooldown, 9-minute, 15-second cooldown period, something like that. It's like, but that's at full load. This winch is at full 13,500 pounds of pulling force. So I don't think I'm going to experience that with this winch because it's so overbuilt for what we need, like so much more pulling force than what we need, that I basically can ignore the duty cycle and run this at full tilt all day long. And it's not I don't need cool down. I mean, I'm going to have the cool down between jobs, between trees, but I don't need to actually stop and think, is this motor getting too darn hot? So that's a big factor why I went with such a big winch. And as seen in my testing video, I mean, you see me, I didn't stop. So I let this thing just coast with those two trees. And I mean, that's indicative closer to what 90% of my pulling is going to be with the softwoods. So as you can see, the winch sits on there very nicely. It is pinned, so I can, if I need to take this winch off for another job, winching off a truck or something, I can just pull one pin, take the snatch block off, and away I go. There's a pin right here holding some of the accessories. So this is going to be where like straps go, choker chains go. Right now it has my two shackles that came with the V-bore snatch blocks and my spare snatch block. So this one's always going to be right here as a kind of swiveling pulley. And that one's going to be used for either redirecting pull or the rare time I might want to snatch it up and double my pulling power. Mostly if I'm like probably closer to the edge of the 13,500 of pulling force, I might want to snatch it up and cut the winch, the power on the winch in half, because you got double the cable going out, so you got half the energy needed. So it works out really good. I'm quite pleased with the setup. I'm going to bring in it for a closer view of the battery box. Alright guys, so here's a better view of the battery box. So when this 3-point frame lifts all the way up using the lifting arms down here and the third link, it will max out its height before it hits those batteries. That was part of the height requirements I had to make sure I maintained. So my upper link in the back here is maybe about 14, 16 apart, but they're about 20 apart on the frame. So that gives me a bit of an asymmetrical lift. And as you can see, the frame tilts forward a little bit, which is fine, which is great. It allows the blade to dig in a little bit better than if it was tilted back because of the curve. But as it lifts, it actually goes backwards a little bit. So the batteries are these are deep cycle batteries, so they have both the wing nut and regular lug nut. So I'm just using some generic cable management that goes from the top post to a lug. And as you see, the negatives on one battery and the positives on the other. That's intentional. When you have daisy chain batteries in parallel, you want to make sure that you either have all identical lengths coming from each battery to a bus bar going to your cables, or you offset which battery has which cable. So that way it's drawing evenly. So if I had turned this around and both were like set up like this and coming off the one, this battery is going to take the brunt of the force before this one can really drain down. So it makes it a little more even on the pressure. So you can see the blade support brace right there. The lighting's a little off, but that's the frame support. So, as mentioned in the unboxing video, this winch comes with a wireless remote as well as a wired remote. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the wired remote on it or not. Right now I'm not, because the control box is sitting on top of the winch, which is convenient when it's for taking it on and off the frame. But as a result, it's kind of in the way for skidding depending on what I'm doing. So I might want to move the winch control box to the back side of the plate, at which point I can attach the wired controller permanently. Just leave it plugged in all the time. That way I have an option on the frame itself. So there's my wired controller. But the wireless worked really good, as you've seen in the other video. So you turn it on. Oh. Little red light comes on. For some reason it didn't. So works out really good. And with this snatch block I didn't mention earlier. So with the snatch block being up high, it's being used as a pulley, and the winch being down low, I'm not worried about spooling. This cable spools perfectly back onto the winch. Whereas if I had this mounted like my previous logging assembly, if there was any pull that kind of went like off to the side, it wouldn't spool. It would try to spool on one side of the winch or the other. So it makes a huge difference on how well it works and how well it spools. And realistically, I could even get a 100-foot coil of rope on there, because they come in 100-foot coils. This is 85 feet. So, hope you liked the video, guys. We're going to be doing different videos showcasing this off and later on, just showing what it can do. It won't be till I get back down into the swamp in probably June or July that we'll really get to push this thing, because there's big pines down there, big hardwood maples, which is the whole reason for me getting this, is getting across that swamp. So I hope you liked the video, guys. Give me a comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know what you think. Have a great day.